Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Barry. I just woke up from a small nap. I decided what better time to record another episode than while I'm a bit still groggy. Chapter 4. So right now, we're going up the elevator. The ride up the elevator is tense. I take a series of deep breaths, doing everything I can to stay in control. Amy has gotten back to her feet, but her head is pressed against the elevator wall as she suppresses a series of sobs. I find myself trying to remember the way those creatures look, but my mind seems to shudder at the effort. I've seen something that is an impossibility, a mockery of what I know is real. This fills me with a terror that dwarfs anything else I have felt since discovering this facility. I try to focus my mind on something else and remember Marcus's threats. I wonder if we'll see Marcus again, I say, mostly to myself. Do you think Marcus got away from those things? Unfortunately, probably. She opens her mouth as if to say something, but her mouth simply hangs open. He's gone, I assure her. Don't worry about him. We have bigger problems to worry about right now. But honestly, I'm speaking more to myself than to her. So, I say, how did you end up here? She gives a nervous chuckle and shrugs. I used to work with Pentagon. It was some super upper echelon stuff that I still can't discuss. I assume this place is even more upper echelon, I said. This place isn't even on the scale, she answers. My other job was a cakewalk compared to this. Then why stay? I ask. Because the money's ridiculous. I have a 13-year-old daughter already talking about Harvard. You do the math. Yeah, let's keep talking about this one. I don't think talking about other kids would be a good idea. Just talk about hers. Harvard, huh? That's ambitious. Oh, I know. She's a force of nature. Her dad ran off when she was 3, so for a long time it's just been her and me. Amy pauses before continuing softly. What if I never see... Her voice breaks off. The words too terrible to say. Her eyes filled with tears. The elevator comes to a stop, the slight ding of it interrupting the moment, and Amy hastily wipes her eyes, wastes no time in getting back inside the command center. I like the softer tone of music. It's very much appreciated. I ready the rifle, suddenly certain that there are more of these creatures waiting for us in the hallway of the second floor. But the way's clear, allowing us to haul ass to the command center. Once again, I find myself staring at the screen that shows my ruined worksite. Okay, Amy says, typing commands rapidly. It can't be that hard. I keep peeking over my shoulder, my senses feeling as if those monsters are sneaking up on us, mere inches away. I then think of Dennis, and wonder how he's firing back on level 3. Is he safe? I look back to the screens and see that Amy has finally found what she's looking for. A prompt on the screen says, Override of hangar doors and all level 3 locks requires clearance code. Amy types in a number with shaking fingers and the screen goes black for a moment. The moment the words override confirmed come up on the screen, Amy jumps up from the chair and heads out of the room. We have to be quick, she says. We have exactly 20 minutes to open those hangar doors. Let's get moving. I follow her out of the command center and bound back down the hallway towards the same elevator that brought us here. Amy punches the elevator button and the doors slide open. We're taking the same elevator back to the biochem room. We're taking the same elevator back to the biochem room, I ask. Those creatures are still down there. It's the only way back down, she says. The other way's blocked by those hydraulic doors we pulled. Hopefully, the creatures left. Hopefully. Neither of us say anything else as we share a look of immense dread. We step back into the elevator and head back down to the biochem room on level 3. As the elevator doors open, we peer out, looking to see if the creatures are still in the area. But it's all clear. When Amy looks to me, her eyes are clear and strong. Marcus wasn't entirely wrong, Amy says as we start walking back towards the hangar doors. About what? I ask. About how I'm partially to blame for this? I do believe part of it is her, but at this point, pointing blame is not beneficial. It's not going to change anything, and it's not going to help. So I'm curious to know why she believes her, though. She did work on it. Why would you be to blame? Some of the things we do here, it's scary. Should have known that one day something like this would happen. Everyone here with the knowledge of what goes on in level 3 is to blame, she says. It's a highly advanced research facility, I say, doing amazing but risky stuff. So yeah, you're partially to blame by just working here, but I can understand the dedication. So why don't you tell me a bit more about what does go on in level 3, I say. Are you familiar with the Large Hadron Collider? Hadron? I'm assuming Large Hadron Collider over in Switzerland. I've heard the phrase, but that's about it, I say. It's a powerful particle accelerator, she explains. Right now they're using it to try and create what's called dark matter. It's theorized that this dark matter actually makes up the majority of the universe, but parts of the universe very different from ours. My guess is that people at the LHC will probably create their first dark matter particle in about 2018 or 2019. Here in this facility, we were able to create one almost 10 years ago. It was the key to our research. What does this matter do? We use dark matter to assist with instantaneous transfer of a subject, but we have yet to perfect it or understand why it works. So you're saying it lets you gain access to different dimensions? I ask. That's the theory, she says. During the point-to-point transfer, the subjects are gone for about 3 to 6 seconds. There's no way to see or measure their presence, but they exist somewhere. From what we could tell, they exist in a kind of void. What is that place like? We don't know. There may be an infinite number of voids or spaces. Some of them appear to just be nothingness, a vacuum, or exotic matter. We're talking about places that we can only measure with instruments. What does that mean, I ask. Do you know what these places look like? No. It means in order to describe it to you, you'd have to be a mathematician, and I'd have to walk you through reams of data and equations. So even though we can describe them, we're still a long way from figuring out what those places look like. Sorry I asked, I say, feeling my mind start to bend inward again. As we continue to walk between the silos, we walk past the area where we left Marcus behind, but he's long gone. Maybe he found a way out. I realize that we are walking very close together between the silos, perhaps trying to create the illusion of safety. We reach the exit connecting the hangar doors, where Dennis hopefully still is. My guts clench it, and my heart hammers my chest as we open the door and walk through. I lift my rifle, but at first it seems that there's nothing waiting for us. And that's when I see the glowing, hulking shape to my left, closing in fast. I just want to point out real quick, in case people are interested in why I chose the choices I did, I believe... yeah. I chose What Does This Matter Do and What Is This Place, or What Is That Place Like? Mainly not to get on too sensitive of subjects, but to try to keep up morale. Like, okay, well, tell me what your results are like. Just to not try to make things too scary, because I don't think we're going to learn anything that's actually important to this current situation. I think all of it is better just to help keep morale up. The creature is about 10 feet away and coming in quickly, so I do the first thing that comes to mind. I drop to the ground, making myself a smaller target, and raise the rifle. I'm not sure if I should just unload on the bastard, or try to be choosy with my shots and weaken it. Or I slow it down. Shoot to weaken. We already don't have many bullets as is, and we currently know or believe that we cannot kill it. My shot causes the entire milky white frame to jerk to the floor. It flounders, its ghost-like tentacles writhing with rage as it cries out to me. It seems to turn and jerk away, parts of it appearing and disappearing every few feet. It moves down the hall and out of sight. I look quickly around for others, but there's only Amy. She looks at me where the monster went with the white eyes. Her face is pale, and I wonder if, like me, she's able to feel her mind trying to retreat. Come on, I say. Let's find Dennis and get through these hangar doors. Amy glances at her watch and nods. We're already down to 6 minutes. We turn towards the hangar doors, and I'm a little disgusted with myself because the bloody scene that so shocked me before now seems mild. Amy goes to work on the computer console on the side of the doors. She starts punching in the keys before saying, This is going to take some time. I thought you already unlocked it, I asked. I did, she says, but for these doors, there's still security permissions I need to hack. Marcus would have known how to do this. She trails off, and I decide to let her work. Suddenly, something slams into me. I feel my feet leave the floor, and I'm literally thrown across the concrete. I look up in time to see one of the creatures. It's apparently in no hurry to attack me again, focusing on Amy instead. She's not armed. I need to come up with a plan to get this thing away from her so she could focus on getting the doors open. It raises one of its flickering appendages, making me certain that part of its makeup is pure light and energy. I could easily take a shot with my rifle, but my mind again goes to how much remaining ammo I have. The only other thing I could think of is to get it to chase me and lead it away from this room somewhere. Either way, we try to shoot the monster. I assume we're not going to hit Amy. Try to shoot the monster, but that doesn't mean that it's any further away, which means it's just that close to hitting either of us. But if we distract the monster, we're probably not getting in the hangar doors. We're gonna distract the monster and run and hope. Based on the fact of this last line, I'm assuming it says I can think. There's the only thing I could think of is to get it to chase me and lead it away from this room. I'm assuming that we actually managed to distract it. Otherwise, I would say shoot it. Honestly, I would say shoot it to begin with, but since it says it doesn't imply that we're gonna fail, I'm assuming that we can distract it. Though it's a little surprising because I assume we would fail. Distract the monster and run. Hey, I yell. Right here. Come get me. I'm the one that shot your buddy. He turns to me, and I am again faced with staring at something that has no business in this world, in this reality. Its body gives off a sort of glow around the central part, a bulbous core that is branched off into two homes, very much like a spider. Again, I I sense that this visual information is not accurate, but it's the best my simple mind can do to make sense of this impossible creature. It starts lurching towards me and lets out a shriek of agony that makes my ears feel like they'll explode. Now that I'm sure it's coming after me, I take off running and head into another hallway we haven't been down. I find myself in an industrial looking area, and I'm pleased to find that the monsters followed me through. This is going to be tricky. I'm just hoping that Amy can get Dennis through. And hopefully Dennis doesn't snap if we don't return. The room seems to be an assortment of old pipes and tanks. I assume some of them run further down into other areas of the facilities. With the creature on my tail, I dash into the maze of metal, hoping to lose it. It's definitely having a harder time squeezing through than I am, and that slows it down. Of course, the room's not a cage of any kind. The thing is still heading towards me, shredding through the pipes as it rages. I notice that sometimes it is breaking the steel girders, but other times it seems like it's somehow merging or changing them. Pipes that were separate are now connected together in a way that makes my head hurt. I finally get a good amount of distance between myself and the creature. I think it's lost my trail. I need to get back to those hangar doors. There's not much time before they close shut, but if I make a sound, the creature could be on my heels again. Okay. So we can make it. If we try to escape quietly, then we risk not making it. And potentially the creature still finds us either way. If we run, if I had to guess, someone's gonna get injured. But if we run, we might be able to get back, and we know it's chasing after us, which then means we know where it's at, and it's not trying to hunt them back down. Because it very well could just say it's done with us and go back to where it knows easy prey is. Granted, I'm thinking of these extra-dimensional creatures as animals, and that might not very well be the case of how they think. But that's how I'm going to treat it, because it's the only connection I can make. Run as fast as you can. There's no time, I think to myself. I have to get moving. With no care of staying silent, I twist myself through some more pipes. I make my way back towards the door I entered through. Immediately, the creature picks up on this and turns towards me. But I don't even look back. I slide through the rusted obstacle course and sprint back to the hangar doors. Because we're probably dead either way. If she hasn't unlocked it, we're probably dead. But I guess I could run off again and save her. I rush back into the large room and see Amy still working on the computer terminal by the hangar doors. Damn it. You okay? I ask Amy. I can clearly see her battling for control of her facilities. Steel determination wins out, and she gives me a grim nod. Any sign of where Dennis went? I ask, hoping she hasn't noticed his body somewhere. No, she replies. It's then that I realize I have no idea how many rounds I have remaining in my rifle. This isn't a model I'm familiar with. Outside of some deer hunting, I'm not much of an expert on firearms. Still, I'm able to locate the chamber easily and see that there are only 2 rounds left. I silently curse to myself for being too trigger happy earlier. To be fair, I did forget. The character did, but I also forgot. To be like, go pick up more rounds. We went up to the security office. We could have checked for more rounds or another gun. How are we on time? I ask her. 4 minutes. I'm going as fast as I can. I was worried how long it would take you to lose that thing. Well, I say. I decided it was better to get back quickly than to... At that moment, the creature screams on the other side of the door. He'll be in here any second. Amy does her best to focus on the keyboard, but there's still no sign of Dennis. Before I have time to look around, a screeching sound interrupts from the other end of the room. I bring the rifle up in a shooter stance and turn around. With the hangar doors right behind me, no signs of Dennis, and a closing window, I have to be confident. Yet, when two monsters come around the corner, my body wants to shut down. The appendages seem to jump in time and space, reaching out for a split second, independent of the body, and then disappearing back to where they came from. It turns and screeches at me, its glowing tentacles snaking out of its body. My knees tremble uncontrollably. Behind me, Amy shrieks. I feel myself losing control, my mind sliding into the abyss of insanity. I pull myself back from the brink. I've got to stay in control. I really hope we're not losing Dennis right now, but it sounds like Amy would have gone if these two would have found us anyways. So I'm kind of glad I got back when I did. Oh, I'm sorry. I think there are only two, but still. My concern is if we shoot them and keep looking at them, we're gonna miss or go insane. But if we turn away, we could lose the few seconds that we need to get in. And I really don't know where Dennis is. I swear, if Marcus has him, I don't remember this part at all. We're gonna take the chance. We have to try and slow him down. I step away from Amy and the hangar doors and towards the monsters, ready to defend her. I ready my rifle, but the creature wastes no time. It makes that jerky motion towards me, and there's a sharp pain in my chest as it collides with me. Or through me. It's hard to tell. My instinct is try to grapple or hold this thing down, but then I realize I don't even know if it'll work. It's basically what it got us hooked. If we try to grapple it, we're gonna end up like the steel girders, most likely. It could maybe give Amy enough time, but we're gonna try to get away. I just hope it stays pissed at us, I guess. I figured I'd rather not try to learn more about the physical nature of this thing right now. I tuck and roll away from it, then stand up to face it. With a scream of defiance, I raise the rifle and put a round in its core. The shot lands dead center, and the light inside of it flickers almost violently. It falls back against the wall, issuing a hiss of its telltale static noise. It then jerks away and retreats, at least for now. Another terror appears as if out of nowhere, screaming at me with a high-pitched whine. It bounds forward, charging in a strange, spastic way. I aim the rifle, intending to take this one in the core too. Take several shots. The several shots we don't have? I was wondering about this, because I think I could be wrong. But I think it also mentioned we only had a few shots, and then we shot a few shots, and now we still have 2 rounds left. If I'm not mistaken, that's 2 bullets. And yeah, we're taking 1 shot and then several shots. That's funny. Sorry. Another terror appears as if out of nowhere, screaming at me with its high-pitched whine. It bounds forwards, charging in a strange, spastic way. I aim the rifle, intending to take this one in the core too. Take several shots, but it's still coming at me. As it slams into me, I pull the trigger again, and realize my rifle is now empty. On contact, the wind is knocked out of my lungs and the back of my head strikes the floor. But neither of these things is as alarming is the fact that the beast is now on top of it. Its exterior is like a seashell. It's been pounded by the surf for so long that it's lost all edges and ridges. By the grip, it tries to capture me with its pure violence. I feel its light-soaked appendages start to wrap around me. I raise the rifle knowing it's empty, but hoping to use it as a wedge to push this thing off me. The weight of the monster is erratic. One moment I feel weightless, another I feel like I'm gonna be crushed. I push upwards with the rifle. The monster budges a bit, but almost seems to absorb it, warping it in its grip. I see the core of the body, a spider-like shape connected to the rest of it by thin white strings of tissue. I'll be dead within seconds unless I can fend it off or get help. The only chance Amy lives is if she can get through those doors, and having her help, there's nothing she can do. Release the rifle and punch it. I don't know what else to do. I do my best to give one last heave to push it off with my hand. Oh no. I do my best to give one last heave to push it off. My hands melt through. I curse myself for wasting so many bullets earlier. Two of its appendages wrap around my left shoulder, and I feel white-hot pain fill my body. The tentacles burn, and I realize that some of them are actually going through my shoulder, like a kid pulling apart the stitches of a doll. And then I see the creature extend its tentacle in aggravation while making that static screeching sound. The creature flickers, releasing me suddenly. With a shudder and a cry of desperation, I roll away from it, see that a large hole has appeared in its luminous core. The creature disappears into thin air and reappears a few feet from me, retreating back towards the biochem room. Amy looks over at me from her terminal at the hangar doors, looking petrified. Dennis stands several feet away, holding a shotgun. Thank God. He walks slowly towards us, and is clearly just as scared and out of sorts as we are. You okay, boss? He asks. His eyes aren't on me. They're looking at the creature, trying to understand exactly what he has just seen. About 15 minutes ago, I heard the door to the maintenance room unlock, Dennis says, pointing to the room I tried to bust my way into earlier. Amy says. When I did the override up in this command center, it unlocked all small doors down here, including that maintenance room. I went inside there and hid, Dennis continues. And while I was waiting for you two to come back, I found a massive trunk. There were a few guns in it, so I grabbed this one, he says, patting his shotgun. I'm glad you're safe, Dennis. Thanks, boss, he says. Me too. She doesn't break eye contact with the panel. Almost done, she replies. Suddenly, without warning, a shot ricochets off the wall behind Amy's head. Startled, we look around, confused. Did Dennis's gun go off? When another shot blasts near us again, we all drop to the floor. I look around, wondering who or what could possibly be shooting at us. These creatures don't do anything that sounds remotely like gunfire. And then I see him. Marcus. Should have killed him when I had the chance. He has a rifle and is walking towards us, an insane look in his eyes. You all deserve to die, he screams, unleashing another round that I hear whiz by my head. Dennis does not hesitate. He stands up and shoots at Marcus, causing him to retreat. How much longer, Amy? Almost there, she says quietly. She makes a few final key presses and says, done. The doors open with the noise of hydraulics and a whoosh of air. With Marcus pinned down by Dennis's gunfire, we start moving towards the doors. At that moment, another creature jerks into instance around the corner, between us and Marcus. Shit, Marcus says, and starts unloading into it. But then he learns the same lesson we did. This only slows the creature down. Marcus gives us one last look, and then turns and runs off in another direction. Dennis, Amy, and I climb up and head in through the doors, moving on nothing more than adrenaline. I see her look longingly at the maintenance room Dennis took the shotgun from. You get into the hangar, Dennis says. I'll get some more firepower. Satisfied with the plan, Amy heads through the door. We scramble inside, finally inside the hangar. Dennis approaches from behind, holding several guns and looking like a kid. Looking like a kid who grabbed an armful of Halloween candy. Amy reaches out for a 9mm with one hand. Dennis turns to me and holds out a shotgun and a handgun for me to choose. But both look deadly. The shotgun looks more powerful, but the handgun will probably be more precise. Based on how precise we've been and the fact that Marcus is still down here, we're gonna take the handgun. I would have said the shotgun because we've been in several close encounters with these creatures, but I'd rather take a handgun because I think I will be a better shot than Dennis right now. And in case Marcus is around, I don't want to risk him missing a shot. I select the handgun and am comforted by the way it seems to fit perfectly into my shaky grip. There are more creatures coming, as many as a dozen, flowing down the hall quickly, their tentacles slithering. The way their light seems to mingle together is almost beautiful. Close the door, I yell at Amy. She dashes to another terminal mounted on the inside of the hangar doors and tries desperately to close them. It's not working, she says with tears in her eyes. The terminal's disabled. Dennis looks through the open doors, readying himself to shoot the first monster that nears us. Should we try to slow him down, or slow him a few down, or just run for it? He asks, his gun at the ready. As many as a dozen? The terminal is disabled. Let's run for it, because even if, as far as I understand, even if we slow down some, it's not going to change anything. The others are just going to be upon us. Let's run for it. Good idea, says Amy. With that, we turn around and sprint out onto the hangar floor. Yeah, because they can outpace us most likely. If we could take a few pot shots here and there, that would help, but standing around is not going to do anything. The room is enormous. It's so large to call it a room seems silly. Large concrete floor stretches out below an expansive lofted ceiling. The area is mostly empty, except for one side which has rows and rows of metal barrels. Back at the far wall is a lit area that seems to expose more rooms, labs, and machinery. Also, in the rear of the hangar, I can see some kind of chamber control center. Dennis and I follow Amy across the hangar floor. Behind us, a series of rough slithering sounds tells us that the creatures have made their way through the hangar, into the hangar. From somewhere up ahead, a loud buzzing noise sounds out. It reminds me of the slight buzzing noise I'd hear up in the forest, noise that I've tried to avoid. I look ahead to see that in the far back of the hangar, a bright red light is flashing. There's a small hatch or door below the light. The hatch is open, and I can see a shape inside of it. I could barely make out the figure of a man standing there, holding an industrial microphone, and as soon as I hear or see him, I hear his huge, amplified voice. It blares down over the intercom system, and he sounds pissed. I don't know who the hell you are, he says. But this is a government facility on lockdown, and there are protocols. And there are protocols to shit. Sorry, there are protocols to shit. I assume the curse coincides with the exact moment he sees the creatures. They're making their way through the hangar doors. There may be 20 feet between us and the creatures. I act instinctively, firing twice as the handgun comes alive in my hands. One shot goes into the core of the monsters, causing it to jerk into the core of one of the monsters, causing it to jerk backwards. Another shot slows down another. The accuracy I get with the 9mm is amazing. Amy and Dennis take the cue and start firing as well. The floor becomes littered with a swirling white liquid from the wounded creatures' bodies, but they're not slowing down. The alarm keeps streaking behind us, and when I turn to see if anything has changed back there, I trip over my feet. I hit the ground hard in an almost comic fashion, slide several feet across the floor. From the ground, I see that we have managed to turn back 4 of them, but I also see that my estimate of a dozen is off. There are at least 20 of them. Their sick, dim light, sinister and gloomy. Their appendages seem to bind together as they come forward. My only hope for survival is that the man in the far doorway has somehow shuts the hangar doors. My only hope for survival is that the man in the far doorway has somehow shuts the hangar doors. His voice comes blaring over the intercom again, broken by the booming noise of the gunfire that we are laying down. Sorry for the jump and slight change in sound quality. Anyways, his voice comes blaring over the intercom again, broken by the booming noise of the gunfire that we are laying down. We're near, towards the isolation chamber. I'm not sure how much time we have. I realize that I could sprint ahead of Amy and Dennis, or I can hang back and give them cover. Keep shooting to cover the others. No question about it. Go inside, where that guy is, I say. I'll make sure we don't have any of those things right on our tails. I'll hold them back for a while. I know it sounds macho, but it also feels like the right thing to do. I have to at least try to give us some kind of chance to escape. So as Amy and Dennis run through the doors, I blast at the next thing that I see moving. All I get for my trouble is that static-like hiss and high-pitched whistling noise. I'm able to beat them back for a bit, focusing them to scatter. Each flickering of light is a small victory. If nothing else, I'm buying Amy and Dennis time. When I'm certain there is nothing more I can do, I turn and run. I hustle, quickly catching up to Amy and Dennis, who stop and turn to provide me with covering fire. There, Amy says, pointing the small door where the man was standing earlier. The swarm is less than 15 feet away now, so fierce that they are pushing through one another to get to us. I raise the handgun and fire, taking my time to aim. I hit one in the spider-like part of its body. Fire again, this time taking one in the core. I thought that was its core. I place 2 more rounds into this creature, eventually causing it to move backwards. We're in the middle of the hangar floor now, with the isolation chamber ahead and the monsters behind. Beside me, Dennis also fires. The kick of the gun jolts him, probably a result of him being weakened by the blood loss. His shot lands true, though, causing a jerking stumble and a flickering of its light. We're almost in. Sorry. It's just this last one is so weird. His shot lands true, though, causing a jerking stumble and a flickering of its light. We're almost in, Amy yells as we get back to the hangar door, Amy yells as we get close to the door we hope will save us. Tell Dennis and Amy to go in first. Get inside, I tell Amy and Dennis, motioning for them to get moving with my gun. I open the door and give Dennis a push towards it. He resists, more eager to try taking another one of the beasts. He resists, more eager to try taking down another one of the beasts before he makes it to safety, but he eventually gives in. I wait a beat to make sure Amy is inside too. I fire off a few rounds at the creatures that are still headed for us, hoping to slow them down. When Amy and Dennis clear the floor, I nearly dash inside. But then I feel something hot seep in my back. Roger, Dennis yells. The pain in my back is so immense that I barely notice the fact that I'm being lifted off the floor. I look down and see that one of the creatures is using its flung arms to grab me by the waist, its tentacles wrapping around me. It lifts me into the air, as if presenting me as a trophy to its friends. I try to focus, attempting to angle my arm in a way that will allow me to aim the handgun and place a bullet in its body. But it's shaking me violently, and its body parts are appearing and disappearing in a way that makes no sense. Another oddity of its structure. I can literally do nothing more than hang there like a rag doll, hoping to be saved. As it continues to hoist me up, screeching its approval, Dennis comes back out of the room and fires off a shot. The bullet catches the monster on the underside of its core, sending it backwards and causing it to freeze for a moment. It releases me, and I hit the ground, dropping my gun, and again finding myself unable to breathe. Feel slightly dizzy, but that fades when I see Dennis is still standing outside the door. He fires into the beast like a madman and doesn't see one to his left, coming in along on the edge of the wall. Push him out of the way. I try to dash towards Dennis to push him out of the way, but there's not enough time. I only did this, and I was about to say, because we believe that there's enough time. If we think it's possible, we'll try it. And I guess I would have done the same thing. But it's a little annoying. I wouldn't have done it like... Anyway. The creature jerks out of existence and then reappears right behind him. By the time Dennis turns and sees the creature coming, it had already drawn several of its appendages back to strike. Dennis tries to raise his gun, but it's knocked away by one of the tentacles. A second tentacle strikes. Dennis is spun around and thrown off balance by the attack. Dennis catches himself before falling. Third tentacle wraps around Dennis's forearm, and I can see it squeeze, tightening instantly. The tip of the appendage passes clear through his hand, its blood-soaked tip poking out through his palm. Dennis's face grimaces with the pain as it tries to wrench his arm free, but the creature's tentacle has his hand speared like a nail through wood. In a moment of dark clarity, I realize that I can free him with a clean shot at the monster's tentacle, but it will likely mean blowing Dennis's hand off. "Dennis!" I yell over the creature's high-pitched static sound. "Can you get free? I have a shot, maybe." "No," Dennis gasps at the creature as the creature tosses him around by the hand like a puppet. "Don't shoot, I could get free." I can't tell if he's right, but the other monsters are starting to encircle him and need to act fast. "Dennis, I'm sorry." He's gonna hate me for this. But I can't risk that you get encircled. If I don't take the shot while I have it, they're gonna kill him. In a last-ditch effort, I try getting a good shot on the monster, but there is none. I'll hurt Dennis even worse if I try. I take aim and I fire a shot. The shot lands perfectly and results in a lot of blood and screams from both Dennis and the creature. I really hope he doesn't die to blood loss. Dennis's hand disappears into a spray of red, and the monster's appendage simply fades away. It literally seems to wink out of existence. The creature screeches while Dennis hits the floor, wailing in pain. The reality of what I have done sets in and nearly paralyzes me. "Get him," Amy says. "I'll cover you." I nod. Still reeling from the sight of what I had done to Dennis, I stumble out of the door. Amy's true to her word. She fires a few rounds into the approaching monsters as I make it to Dennis. Grab hold of him with my good arm. I drag him backwards as fast as I can, nearly falling down in the process. When I reach the doorway, Amy reaches down and helps me drag his body the final few feet into the room. She manages to pull off another shot, and when I look to see what she has hit, I see another dozen or so of the monsters. Dennis is writhing in pain. He looks up to me, or when he looks up to me, sneering. "You crazy asshole," he screams. He shudders violently, sweat and tears coursing down his pale face, and he slams the door behind us. Finally, we're inside the room, hopefully safe within what looks to be an isolation chamber of sorts. Along the frame, a little electrical lock beeps as the door is secured. End of chapter 4. Dennis, we didn't have time. I wanted to believe him that we could get him out free without hurting him, but when it risks losing a hand or losing your life, I'm not about to take that option. I'm not about to change any other choice than to lose your hand. Self-control. You and 49% of players shot to weaken the creature, not to kill it. Keep them at bay. You and 41% of players distracted the creature instead of shooting it. Some pretty equal odds throughout this chapter. Weapon of choice. You and 57% of players took the handgun instead of the shotgun. Judgment call. You and 57% of players disobeyed Dennis' wishes to not shoot, causing him to lose his hand. I haven't seen the other side of that choice, and I'm not going to. I'm terrified that if you do, you lose Dennis. And I can't have that happen. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this chapter was a bit shorter. And we have our final chapter coming up soon enough. So. Oh no, wait, yeah, you can see the cursor on this one. With that, I will, I guess, bid you farewell. I hope you have a wonderful day, night, evening, year, month, second, hour, minute, era, generation, decade, century, whatever time it is. I hope you're either fast asleep or maybe just distracted. I hope you're doing well. Until the next one, take care. Take care of yourself and of others. I say it every time, and I don't mean it any less any single time I say it. If for nothing else, do it for me. I'd appreciate it. Till the next one. Bye-bye.